right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome in to another video this morning. Another one of my, what on earth is it? What is this? I don't know what any of that is. Anyway, what's going on, guys? Figured I'd make a quick video here before I go to work this afternoon. Something else that has come up this week is that we are on the road to the very first SummerSlam two-night event coming up this weekend. I literally just kind of jotted some predictions down, not really having a whole lot to go upon, because like I said, I figured if I don't do it now, I may not get another chance this weekend. Also, big thank you to you guys for the Final Fantasy 16 live stream last night. I had said if the that initial live stream got up to 20 or more views, the next installment would be released, which we have successfully done that. Last time I checked, it was like 22 views. So, yo, Jacob, how's it going? I am fantastic. Once I get my PC set up, I'll be even more fantastic. But that's one step at a time on that. But we're going to be discussing SummerSlam predictions. I literally jotted these down. I didn't realize they already had the lineup for this event. I literally just kind of went willy-nilly, so I don't know the order I have these. I don't know. I think Gunther and Punk main event night 1. Obviously, John Cena, Cody Rhodes will main event night 2. Other than that, I don't really, like I said, I didn't realize until I started jotting them down that they, with the exception of the tag team title match, everything has an assigned night. I just didn't realize that, so bear with me on that. We are not going to focus so much on when each match is. Just going to go through, if I have this right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's 12 matches total. There's 6 on night 1. There's 5 on night 2. I'm assuming the tag title match will go on to night 2 to make it 6 and 6. But like I said, we'll see what happens there. And again, guys, if I don't pay too much attention to the chat, please do not think I'm ignoring you guys, because I'm truly not. I just want to get this video made really quick before I go into work. So we're going to kick things off with Sami Zayn against Karrion Kross. It's cool. Karrion Kross is getting back-to-back pay-per-view matches, or now PLE, because they're not on pay-per-view anymore. But that being said, I would love for Karrion Kross to get a win, because I like Karrion Kross. I'm a big Karrion Kross fan. But it seems like when they put him on these events, they don't do anything with him. And that's why I'm going to go with Sami Zayn for the win here. I guess Kross got a win on Raw. Hand to God, I don't watch Raw very often. A lot of times I have to work, so I don't ever get a chance to watch Raw. I see the highlights and whatnot, but I don't actually sit through a Monday Night Raw. And from what some people say, it's not really a bad thing. But, like I said, I just feel with Karrion Kross, like I said, every time they put him on the map, if you will, they drop the ball with him. And it's unfortunate, because I think Karrion Kross deserves better. And I think his contract is actually expiring in August. So if he goes over, maybe that means he's going to resign. But I don't see it. Give me Sami Zayn on that one. Next match I have, Intercontinental Championship on the line. Champion Dominic Mysterio defending against AJ Styles. A lot of people are high on Dominic. I'm really not. I hope AJ wins this thing. If AJ wins, he will be a Grand Slam champion. Former WWE champion, former US champion, former tag team champion. He's never won the IC title. So I think it's going to be pretty cool if he wins this thing. And like I said, I like AJ Styles. I love the fact that WWE and TNA, with this partnership they have, AJ was able to go over to Impact. And we got Holly in the chat. Corbin, just wondering, do you have a Lamar Jackson edit? No, I don't. I don't know why I would need one, but tomorrow morning I'll be back with a couple of divisions. I still got to wrap up the AFC and then start on the NFC, but we'll talk about Lamar Jackson tomorrow, but I definitely don't have an edit. Yo, Big Baby, what is up, good sir? But give me AJ winning the IC title. U.S. title on the line. Champion Solo Sikoa defending against Jacob Fatu in a steel cage. I hear a lot of people wanting Jacob Fatu to win this thing. But I think for long-term storytelling, I think Jacob is going to win the title back. I just feel it's a little bit too soon. I think Solo is going to retain the title in the cage due to outside interference from the bloodline. I think Zilla Fatu, who is a independent wrestler, I think he makes his appearance here. Whether or not that leads to Jacob regaining the title remains to be seen. But I do look for Zilla Fatu to make his debut in this at this event. Just a matter of to what degree. I definitely want Jacob to win. I'm not a fan of Solo Sikoa. I never have been. But you got to go with what brung you, I guess. And long-term storytelling, Solo just won the title at Night of Champions. So, I mean, if you take it off of him already, it's almost one of those, like, what's the point? You got to have, Jacob chase the title for a little bit before. Also, what are we talking about? We're talking about WWE SummerSlam, which is coming up this weekend on, almost said Peacock, but it's not on Peacock. It's on Netflix, I think. Yo, Corbin says, you look awesome, dude. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. But next up, we have a no disqualification, no count out, last chance match for the WWE Women's Intercontinental Championship. Champion Becky Lynch taking on former champion Lyra Valkyrie. Yo, Murph, what's up, brother? This one I can see going either way. Anytime you do a last chance match, or where a champion is defending the title and the challenger has one last chance, otherwise they can't they can't challenge for the title again. It usually means advantage challenger, and I think that's what I'm going to go with Lyra in this one because with injuries on with Liv Morgan, which we're going to talk about. Actually, that's the next match I have is the women's match. We're going to talk about Liv here in a minute. And also Bianca Belair is kind of banged up. You're going to want to have somebody, shift over. And I think Becky Lynch could be the perfect person to do that over on SmackDown. So I do have Lyra winning the women's Intercontinental title back here. Becky's won the last couple. So, I mean, give the rub to the challenger. And that's, like I said, anytime you do a last chance match, usually it's tailor-made for the challenger to walk out with the title. So give me Lyra Valkyria. Speaking of the women, we have the Women's World Championship on the line. Champion Naomi defending against Io Sky and Rhea Ripley. This is a rematch from Evolution 2 that happened last month, I think it was, early this month. The last PLE that they did. Naomi cashed in her briefcase, won the title. I think the cash-in was a little premature, and I think they did that because of the Liv Morgan injury. Liv Morgan suffered a separated shoulder, which caused her to be injured. I think the initial plan was for Naomi to cash in at SummerSlam, and that match we'll get to here in just a minute. But I think the plan was for Naomi to cash in then. But because of the injury to Liv Morgan, they had to kind of do a little bit of damage control and have, a big time, move on Raw to where, Naomi won the title. And I think it's absolutely irrelevant if you take the title off Naomi right here, because again, she just won it at Evolution. So I'm taking Naomi to retain the title. I think it's going to be a banger of a match. Io and Rhea always, get those two together. You always have a top tier match, and then when you add Naomi into the mix, not cashing in at the end of the match is just going to accentuate it that much more. So give me Naomi to retain the women's world title. Going to stay with the women, the WWE Women's Championship. The champion Tiffany Stratton defending against Jade Cargill, who won the 2025 Queen of the Ring. And this is where we just spoke of Naomi. I think this is where Naomi was supposed to cash in. I've got Jade Cargill winning the title. Tiffany's been the champion since early January. It's kind of been a stagnant run with the title, if I'm being 100% honest with you guys. I think Jade wins the title, and I think this is where Naomi was going to cash in and win the title off of Jade, because it would keep their rivalry going and that sort of thing. But because of, again, the injury to Liv Morgan, they had to do some kind of a damage control. I still think Jade's going to win the title. It's just going to be now about how long is she going to hold the title. Like I said, Tiffany's had a meh. Sad thing is they always like to take away titles early when they win it. In some cases, it's warranted, but I think with a lot of these titles right now, it makes no sense to take them off the current champions because of the fact that they just won them. A lot of times they like to play hot potato with these titles, and I absolutely hate that. I don't like seeing 3-4 year long reigns, but I hate seeing like 30-day reigns, 3-week reigns, PLE to PLE reigns. I hate when they do that crap. But I do think Jade is winning the title. And like I said, Tiffany's run's been lackluster at best. I mean, I really nothing about this run has stood out to me. But yeah, give me Jade for the win. Now we have a match that may or may not be happening right now because of some visa issues with one of the participants, and that is Randy Orton and Jelly Roll taking on Drew McIntyre and Logan Paul. Anytime WWE gets a celebrity in a match, they're not losing. If this match takes place, I'm going to go with Randy and Jelly Roll. I don't know what Jelly Roll's finisher is. Maybe it's the Hertz donut. I don't know. What's that restaurant? What's that restaurant that throws the roll? Lambert's. Maybe that's his finishing move. I don't know. Drew McIntyre is detained over in England right now. He went overseas to a wedding, and now because of some visa issues, he's having issues leaving. And with SummerSlam taking place this weekend, I don't know if that's going to have any kind of an impact on if the match is going to take place. But either way, I really hope Logan eats the pin here because I just feel that Drew McIntyre has been buried all year, and especially. If they're going to give the pin to Jelly Roll, have Jelly pin Logan. You're going to establish, Jelly Roll because he's a celebrity at this thing that they're going to get the win because, like I said, I don't think I've ever seen a celebrity, have a wrestling match, and their team loses. It beats a Randy Orton Drew McIntyre match. They weren't going to do Jelly Roll against Logan Paul 1-on-1. So they just basically took two matches, combined them into one to make a tag team match. But give me Randy Orton and Jelly Roll if it manifests and nothing comes out of the overseas situation. Next up, we have the Judgment Day. Raquel Rodriguez and Roxanne Perez defending the WWE Women's Tag Team titles against Charlotte Flair and Alexa Bliss, this thrown-together tag team. Again, I can't comment much on it because I haven't really watched any of it. I do have the challengers winning the tag team titles just because Judgment Day's had the belts for a while. Again, the women's tag team titles, with all due respect to the women, they're garbage. It's just like there's just no meaning to them, and I just can't get myself to care about them. I really can't. And that's nothing against the women. Everybody's like, oh, K-Dog hates women wrestling. No, actually, I don't. I think women can get in there and duke it out just as much as the men can. I just feel that the tag team titles are stagnant. Like I said, there's just nothing to them. And I think you got to keep this Flair Bliss thing rolling a little bit longer. I look for one of them to turn on the other so that way maybe they have a match with each other at WrestleMania. But I think just to keep it going, put the tag team titles on them and see what they can do with them. So, and I'm going to leave it at that because, like I said, I don't have really a whole lot to say as it relates to the tag titles for the women. Next up, we have Roman Reigns, Jey Uso taking on the Brawns. We have Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. Personally, I would have liked to have seen. They still treat the women's side bad. They always have. And when they created these women tag team titles, I'm like, dude, why? You don't showcase the women very often as it is. Now you're gonna have, and now they have a women's U.S. and a women's Intercontinental, and that's great. But they don't exploit them. Why have those titles if you're not going to exploit them? If you're not going to feature them on a regular basis, other than on Raw and SmackDown? But like I said, it's one of those. I digress. I ain't got no stroke with that company. So, all right. So we got Roman and Jey, Bronson Reed, and Braun Breaker. I have the heels winning this match, namely because you got Roman Reigns, who is going off to film Street Fighter, the remaking Street Fighter. With Roman Reigns is in it. I think Cody Rhodes is in it. I think he's playing Guile. And, I don't know when you're going to see Roman after this, but I think a statement can be made for Paul Heyman's new group, if you will. You're going to get Roman Reigns and Braun Breaker down the road. Maybe at Survivor Series. Maybe even, at WrestleMania, you'll get those two one-on-one. But I do have Bronson and Braun winning this match. I think Jay eats the pin. I mean, Jay Uso's been on kind of a downfall since he lost the world title to Gunther on Raw a couple months ago. But yeah, like I said, I can't really comment on what I don't watch very often. But I'm going to take Bronson and Braun in this one. And then I know the main event of night one. Like I said, I'm sorry, I have these completely out of order. Like I said, I didn't even realize until I got about 3/4 of the way through it that these were on night one, these were on night two, but. We have the World Heavyweight Championship on the line. Gunther defending against CM Punk. I think you can go many different ways with this match. I think, but either way, it's irrelevant to how I think it's going to go between the two. There's a wild card in this whole scenario, and I think the wild card is what's going to play out, and I see a Seth Rollins cash-in coming in this match. Now, whether it be Gunther beats Punk, Rollins cashes in on Gunther, whether it's Punk winning the world title and Rollins cashing in on Punk, which is the route I'm going to lean toward, or I don't see them doing the triple threat kind of because they just did that at Evolution when it came to Naomi. Cashing in, making the women's match a triple threat match. I don't see them doing that twice in a month and a half span. So, I have Punk winning the world title and Rollins immediately cashing in. CM Punk has been on Seth Rollins' hit list since he came back, and Rollins has vowed that he's never going to let Punk win another world title. Hence why it kind of alludes to the triple threat aspect, but how fitting would it be? Punk's so happy. Punk won the belt. He's on top of the world. Rollins cashes in. I think this knee injury thing is being played out a little bit too much for my liking, and I feel like all the signs are there, for a Punk cash in. I think the knee injury is not as expansive as they're making it out to be, and I think, like I said, I do think Punk is going to win the title, but I do think Rollins is going to cash it in, ending Punk's reign at like 2 minutes, or however long they hold it between bell time and cash in, but. All right, 2 more matches. We have the Wyatt Six defending the WWE Tag Team Championships against Andrade and Rey Fenix, DIY, Fraxium, the Motor City Machine Guns, and the Street Profits in a 6-pack TLC match. This thing is going to be just chaos, guys. It's going to be, 12 guys, getting thrown around, bounced around off of ladders and whatnot. My mind, I wouldn't mind seeing Fraxium win the tag team titles just because they're the underdog. My heart kind of wants to see the Machine Guns win the titles, but I'm going to stick with the Wyatt Sixes to win, just on account that, again, you just put the belt on these guys like 3 weeks ago. Why would you take them off this soon? You know what I mean? So I got the Wyatts retaining in that aspect. And then we get to the main event of Sunday night. WWE Championship on the line in a street fight. John Cena against Cody Rhodes. Everybody and their mothers seems to think this is when Cody's going to win the title back. I don't. I think Cena's going to retain. There's three ways that this thing can go. And I pray to God The Rock isn't involved. Everybody keeps talking about a double turn. Cena's going to turn babyface. Cody's going to turn heel. What sense does that make? I do see Cena becoming a babyface again before his last date in December. I have said this so many times. I feel that WWE has completely fucked up and botched John Cena's heel turn because The Rock has not been involved once since the heel turn. So what was the point? What was the point of John Cena's heel turn? I loved it. Because Vince McMahon didn't have the balls to do it. Cena's been wanting to turn heel for quite some time, but Vince McMahon would never go for it. Triple H, on the other hand, did go for it. But what? For what? Storyline-wise, for what? So, is this, even Big Baby? Big Baby just says, too soon. Cody's going off to film this Street Fighter movie alongside Roman, with Roman and, everybody else that's in it. Cody's not going to have time to make weekly appearances, at least not for now. So, the question is, how do you do this? Well, Cena, it's no DQ, street fight, no rules. Cena's been, cheating to win since he won the belt. So why not have him do the same thing, cheat, and retain the title? He's going to drop the belt, whether it be... I don't think he's going to hold it till his last appearance. Plus, Cena's advertised for TV all throughout the month of August. SummerSlam's coming up the first weekend of August, so I could see Cena being there and Cody not. Why would Cena be there but without the belt? As far as that goes. At least if he continues to hold the belt, you could build up a program to Survivor Series where I think John would lose the belt. Because I don't see him holding it to that final Saturday night's main event. And I don't see a double heel turn coming. It doesn't make sense for a double heel turn. And The Rock needs to stay as far away from this main event as humanly possible. But I do have Cena going over in that regard. I got to check time here. Yeah, it's almost noon. I got to go and get this video wrapped up so I can get some stuff done before I go to work. But yeah, that is that, guys. So there's my predictions. Kind of be interesting to see how I do, what I do, and whatnot. But again, tomorrow night, guys, we'll get another episode of Final Fantasy 16 up because you guys hit the goal for that at 20 views, which as when I looked at it this morning, analytic-wise, it's up to like 22 or 23 views. So we'll get another episode of that up tomorrow night. We're going to do a little bit of grinding on Final Fantasy 10 before I get the next episode of that. Yeah, John Cena is going to turn babyface at some point. I'm not saying that Cena won't turn babyface at SummerSlam. Maybe he will. I just don't see a double turn happening. I just, especially when it involves The Rock. Maybe if The Rock does get involved, maybe it's Cena that betrays The Rock. Like, listen, you haven't been here for me since I did this. So basically what fucking good are you? And maybe that's how the face turns happen. Cena's going to retire as a babyface. I mark my words on that. Like I said, it just pisses me off because they drop the ball so hard with this Cena heel turn. It could have been biblical, but they dropped the ball because, like I said, The Rock hasn't been there through any of it. So, like I said, I see Cena turning face. I just don't see Cody turning heel. At least not yet. Cody will turn heel down the road, but I just don't see it happening at SummerSlam. But like I said, who knows? Maybe I'm wrong. That's why, like I said, there's a reason I don't watch this stuff. But being SummerSlam is one of the bigger events of the year, I wanted to get predictions up for this and all that. So I am going to hop off here so I can get ready for work. And hey, Kanara, how's it going? But yeah, that's like I said, that's my picks in a nutshell. Yeah, Cody's not going to turn heel now. Like I said, I see a heel turn coming down the road. But yeah, Cena needs to retire as a babyface. Kanara, I am good. I am getting ready to hop off here so I can get to work. But other than that, I am fantastic. Like I said, once I get my PC up and running, I can start recording videos on my PC like I normally do. And then I can reserve my phone for doing football picks and whatnot. So, but that being said, I can chat with you guys all freaking fracking day because I love talking with y'all. I love interacting with y'all. But like I said, duty calls, and I do got to get to work. So that being said, y'all take care, and I will catch you guys tomorrow. We'll do a division. We'll preview the AFC South tomorrow morning when I get up, and then we'll do a Final Fantasy 16 live stream tomorrow night. So don't miss either of that. Going to have a lot of content for you guys, so don't miss any of it. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. Also, give this video a thumbs up if you would, pretty please. Does help the channel grow. With that being said, we'll catch you guys in just a bit. Well, I should say we'll catch you guys tomorrow. Not a little bit. A little bit I'm going to work. Anyway, I'm rambling. Love y'all. Catch you guys tomorrow.